Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Veneration podcast. My name is Strout. I'm your host, co-founder, and CEO of Veneration. Veneration is a fitness and nutrition facility in Johnstown, Ohio. And while we obviously do the workout thing really well, we are completely obsessed with our town and our community. On this podcast, we'll be covering local happenings, food and drink spots here in town, interviews with our awesome members and other local business owners, and of course, we'll jam on fitness topics with our coaching team as well. If you're in Johnstown and looking to stay up to date with everything that's happening and learn a thing or two about how to enhance your fitness, go ahead and subscribe to our channel to get notified when we release new episodes. Today, I'm joined by Veneration coach, Steele Strout. Welcome.
Thank you.
He has actually been on my personal podcast, the Storm Strout podcast, but today we are kicking off the Veneration podcast with one of our longest tenured coaches. Talk a little bit about your roles at Veneration. What coaching roles are you involved in?
I am a group class coach, as well as a private coaching coach.
Awesome. On our agenda today, we're going to kind of go through a few different parts of our podcast here. First, we're going to touch base on an event that we just brought to a close, the 2021 Veneration Open. For some of us, one being the person sitting at this table, that event is not to a close yet. Format is a little bit different this year. So we're going to touch on the Veneration Open. We're going to talk about upcoming events. And then each episode that we do this, we're going to be asking the coaching team some questions from you guys, the listeners. So today we have quite a few questions to kick off our new podcast. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and dig right in. So we just brought the first 3 weeks of the Open to an end, which is for anybody who's been doing CrossFit for any amount of time, that already sounds weird because historically the Open is 5 weeks long. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what the Open is and how it's different this year?
The Open can be different things for many different people depending on what your goals are, I believe. But overall, to define the Open, it would be a test of your fitness in a community or a worldwide event. We specifically keep it mostly ingrained in our community. And treat it just as any other workout. But we bring the fun, like, party aspect to these workouts just to make them a special event and to give myself and our members something to look forward to because it is a lot of fun. And for a lot of people, they've been doing it for the 5-6 years that we've been open. So it's pretty much a tradition at Veneration, I believe. What was the other question?
So my question for you was just how the format changes this year, which is was very unique. But the games season itself, the sport of CrossFit, for the last several years has shifted every year. This is a big one. This is a big change. So what does the format look like this year, and how does that affect you?
So first off, the Open, like you said earlier, was only 3 weeks long this year rather than 5 weeks like the previous years. And I absolutely love that. For the Worldwide Open. I think it's realistic. I think it was 3 full weeks of people being really excited to work out versus, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but week 4 and 5, like sometimes there is a little bit of like all right, when's this thing going to be over? And I didn't see that this year at all inside those 3 weeks. So I absolutely love that for the worldwide competition. But then the next stages, if you do have more so competitive aspirations, I think it's fantastic as well. So what is about to happen, I believe Thursday through Sunday, I have to read my email again.
Better make sure you have that right. Miss all your deadlines.
Yeah, for sure. There's the next stage after the Open is called the Quarterfinals. Basically, it is the top 10% in your given continent. Basically this year, that's what the semifinals, and I'll go into that later, will get broken up into is continent. So top 10% in North America for me, and I doubt there's anybody else listening that would be for a different continent, but if there is, then just your given continent. But for North America, the top 10%, I believe it was 7,000 this year, which is incredible. That means it was almost pretty close to 100,000 people in the United States that not quite 100,000,
yeah, that's awesome, though.
but it's up there, 70,000 in North America, Canada, and Mexico. No, that's South America, just Canada. It's pretty cool. That's a lot of people. But 7,000 from North America. We'll move on to the quarterfinals this week, which starts on Thursday, ends on Sunday. All we know right now is that the first two events will be, the deadlines are Friday at 3 p.m. So that's pretty early. And then after that, I believe they released a floor plan, which is like basically just showing you the setup that you'll need to do and the equipment that you'll need and whatnot. And I think there's going to be 5 events unless there's something random that gets thrown in there. But yeah, from the quarters, after that, they'll take, again, this is all continent based, so participation based on the given continent. North America has the most participation, so we will have the most semifinal events. Each semifinal will take the top 30 men and the top 30 female, and we have 4 in North America, so it'll be 120 total people will move on to the semifinals in North America. But then other countries like South America, who don't have as much participation as us, will have 1 semifinal event. So only 30 people from South America will be moving on to a semifinal, if that makes sense.
It does, I believe.
So basically, the more participation that you have in a country, the more people that you'll have represented in a semifinal. And then from there, I honestly have no idea yet what they're doing, how many people they're taking from a semifinal to the games. That's something I haven't looked into yet.
Do we know games dates? Like roughly?
So the semis, I believe, will be next month, so the month or 2 following after that.
I just didn't know if they.
Yeah, I have no idea. One step at a time.
No, for sure.
I'm learning this season, especially. It seems like it's changed the last 3 years, so
definitely
pretty much just learning as you go.
Well, in the curveball of 2020 didn't help with that, with
basically
COVID and stuff.
And something really cool about the quarter. So this next step that we're going into. Well, it could be cool, could be not cool, depending on how well you did. But in the overall open, none of that matters anymore. From the quarters, everything is clean slate.
I think that's very cool.
It's just like another event.
Yeah,
it's cool.
That is awesome. It's funny talking about the open. This is a very good opportunity to highlight the difference, not necessarily the separation, but just the differences between CrossFit the sport and CrossFit the training methodology. And it just got me thinking, every time the open season comes around, that was the first time we ever had like cameras in the building back in the day. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like 2015, we had opened in October, and the open was in February. So just a few months later. So like we had been working with our clients and stuff. There had never been anyone in those few months that had their phone out or a camera in the building capturing like with the things that we were doing. And then the open came around and like people's family came and watched them do like this community event and compete and whatnot. And I took all of those pictures and like bombarded our website with them. So every picture that represented what we did was people with clipboards like judging. Like for the next year and a half, every question from people that were interested in starting the gym was like, so like, is every day scored? Like, do I have a judge on every workout? I'm like, I'm so sorry. That was a monumental error on my part. But, yeah, so I always think about that when open season comes around, but, no, that's super exciting. Congratulations on moving on to quarters.
Thank you.
You and Gabby are the 2 from our gym who are moving on. It's a huge accomplishment and very exciting, and I'm excited to witness what you do next.
Thank you. Me too.
On the you said, correct me if I'm wrong, about people people really enjoying all 3 weeks and not like you are 100% correct. Speaking both as myself, as someone who comes and takes classes at the gym, and then on behalf of the community historically. Week 4, it's like, can we just get back to training like normal? And week 5 is like, wow, I'm so done with this. And this year, you and the coaching team did such a phenomenal job making it an experience, but one that everyone was coached through like normal.
I loved the way that personally, I loved the way that we did it this year with the coach. We tried in the past with our big events where we had coach-led warm-ups. It's not like we skipped over that. But this year, within the classes that we did, it was much more personable. And everybody got, just like any other class day, their appropriate modifications or anything that they needed. And I think it ran fantastic, and I liked it a lot.
They were able to see successes from it. People were doing great things, which actually leads me to a question I wanted to ask you. What were some of the biggest like bright spots that stood out for you in the open on like behalf of your clients, like you working with?
So one that sticks out to me huge, actually, they were in the same group. They did the workout together. It was really cool. They came up to me and was like, Steele, I want to do this workout as prescribed. I said, okay, absolutely. Like, move smart, move safe, and crush it. I have no doubt that you can do it. And they did it. It was awesome. Who
was it?
It was Alexa and Catherine on 21.2 with the dumbbell snatches and box jumps. It was cool because they moved correctly. They've been practicing moving correctly and efficiently with maybe not a 35-pound dumbbell for years, right? And then they get the opportunity to put it to the test with a 35-pound dumbbell, and nothing changed from the 25-pound dumbbell to the 35-pound dumbbell. They moved exactly the same, maybe a little bit slower than they did with a 25-pound dumbbell. Rightfully so, right? It's 10 pounds heavier. But the movement pattern was great. They moved safely. Minus Alexa's goose egg from the box. they moved great. It was awesome. And I loved to see it, and it was great. They both crushed it.
That is 100% what it's all about for us. The open, our training leading to things like that, like just an awesome moment to do something super cool like that. That is really exciting. Very cool.
One more.
Go.
Overall, as a gym, a movement got thrown at us. Week 1, wall walks. How many times have you programmed a wall walk in a workout?
So 2 answers. 1, recently, like within the last 12 months, 0.
Yeah.
2, before, very, very rarely.
Right.
Very rarely. If we used it like a warm-up to warm up the shoulders more than anything.
A warm-up or like an accessory piece. Great movement. Nothing wrong with it, just not one that we utilize too often. Minus, we did do a bunch of wall walks in my gymnastics course slightly before the open, which was awesome. It made me look really, really smart, but I swear I didn't know they were coming.
He has an in, he knows.
But basically, what my point here being is that a movement that it's not like it's the clean or the back squat that we practice a lot, right? Something that got thrown at you or us as a gym that we weren't too familiar with. And I explained the standards, explained the best way to approach the moving patterns, and everybody crushed it. The movement was phenomenal. There was no like somebody got up their belly close to the wall and I was like shaking because they were about to fall over and their arms were shaking. No, everybody did fantastic. It was really cool to see overall as a gym. So
that is cool.
It's good.
I wanted to share a bright spot that stood out to me from the open, and I actually posted about this on our private page. There was obviously we do ours on Fridays. It was a Friday afternoon. I had been back in the office working, and I came out to see everyone, and I had to go back in and jump on a virtual meeting, and I walked back out while they were doing the workout. So no one saw me standing up top No one knew I was watching, but every person, we probably had 18, 19, 20 people in class. And I was watching very carefully for this. Every person was, I use the word glowing when I posted about, like literally just on fire and happy about like whether they were approaching a barbell or like waiting their turn, like while their buddy was going. Like everyone was just like, the energy was just like radiating. And some of those people, certainly I would never use names for like the example that I'm going to give, because this is like personal conversations between us. But some of those people that I witnessed when they came to us, I got to do their new member consultation. And in that, we get very deep and like we talk about pain points and the reasons that they're getting started and taking this leap. And they're just like, they were not in a good place. That's common for a lot of people that come to us. They're not in a good place. They're not happy with maybe how they feel, how they look, all of the above. And I remembered those very meaningful conversations that we had and that we have when we check in periodically. And then to see those people just on fire. Again, whether they were doing something cool, a movement, or just existing around like-minded people, like that's so rewarding. And I slept really good that night because like that's so cool. That's what we're doing. That's what it's all about. So the Open 2021 thus far, huge success and good luck on the next stages. I'm very excited to witness.
Thank you.
So moving on, we talk about a couple quick things that are coming up at the gym. We have one big event late May. So we have Memorial Day Murph coming up, and that is on May 31st. And that is something that we actually did not get to experience last year as a community. I believe we came back to in-person coaching the week after Memorial Day. Is that true? It's all blurred.
I have no idea, man.
I know a lot of us did it remotely.
And then I know there was some that gathered in the parking lot last year.
I was like, I don't see you. I don't hear you. No, it would be much different this time around. I would encourage it. But last year I was still terrified and I didn't know what was allowed and what was not. Anyway, that's awesome. I'm glad that everybody that got it in last year did. But one of the best things about Murph is everything that we just described about the Open. It's the community aspect. It's pushing and pulling each other forward and paying respects on Memorial Day the best way that we know how. One of my favorite memories from all years past is a lot of people will carry the American flag on their run, and everyone that's like honking and waving and thumbs up. Like, it's just really cool. It's just a really cool thing and good. It feels really good in our small town community. It's like, it's an awesome thing. So for those that don't know, obviously everyone from our gym that's listening, Murph 1 mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, air squats, and a 1 mile run. Prescribed wearing a weight vest. And we do that to honor Lieutenant Michael Murphy, who gave his life in the line of duty. That is coming up, like I said, end of May. It's going to be a very big deal at the gym. I would venture to say that 90+% of our members participate in Murph. Infinitely scalable.
Yep.
Just like our other workouts. We'll take good care of you. And I do believe the word on the street is that Coach LA is preparing a course that will prepare you. He's preparing a course that will prepare you for events like Murph. So not Murph specific, but with a focal point on endurance and mindset. So that's something very exciting to look forward to. And I'm sure there's going to be information coming out about that soon. Immediately following Murph, the next week, there's a Spartan Race coming to Ohio. I have reserved my spot. Are you doing it? On the spot.
I'll have to look at.
It really does depend on the days.
Yeah, it really does depend on the days based on how I do in the quarters and from there. But if it goes poorly, then yes, I will do the Spartan Race. So
I put you on the spot. Not fair. That's June 6th, and that's in Garrettsville, Ohio. So I would encourage anyone that would like to do that. You'll have prepared for that type of event through your preparation for Murph, both in our group classes like normal as well as Coach LA's course. And that it will be a great time. So I encourage you to do that with me. And then finally, this summer, we have the youth camp, the youth summer camp coming up. Likely, I believe it's in June, but of course, as we get closer, more details will come. But Coach Gabriella will be sharing all the information about the youth camp. So
super exciting.
Keep your eyes out. Guys, we're going to move on to what I anticipate to be my favorite part of this podcast, which is myself and my guest answering questions from the listeners, from you guys. So we have quite a few to kick off the podcast today. I'm going to start by asking Steele the first one, and we can both chime in on all these. One of our listeners wants to know, when I do a squat, what direction should my knees travel?
Great question. Squat is something that you do to stand up and sit down, whether it's on the couch or the toilet or whatever you may squatting to or be squatting to. But a very, very short answer, just looking at this without going into any like big explanation. And in layman's terms, the safest answer for the direction wise would be out. And correct me if you disagree, but I say out because when you're squatting, you want to try to think about separating the floor with your feet. But to go into a little bit more detail with the squat, you actually want to take all of the pressure off of your knees. So you would do that by sending your butt back just a little bit and then dropping straight down after you send your butt back. Okay, so you don't want to over send your butt back, over hinge into like a good morning. But it's a small setback with your hips, and then from there you can drop straight down. Now with the knee out thing, this is where this comes into play, right? On the way down, after you send your butt back, drive your knees out as well as on the way up, so they're not caving in. So pretty short answer, but
yeah, good answer.
Yeah,
one of the most common things that I see, certainly in this day and age on social media, with the squat is knees jetting straight forward.
That's what you want to try to avoid, right? Because that's when all the pressure goes onto your knees and away from your posterior chain, which is all those big muscles that can support either body weight or even like a loaded barbell or something like that, where you definitely need to be in correct form to stay safe and injury free.
Sweet. So quick summary of the squat. You want to go slightly flare the toes, not passively, but pull the floor apart. Is what you said. Send the butt back.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're easing down into the squat. And then while you're down and coming up, you're trying to keep your knees pushed out in line with those toes that you flared.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
And then furthermore, you don't want to lose control into especially the bottom of the squat. So on your descent, don't crash and drop as fast as you can. It's not a race to the bottom. Okay. Think about the eccentric part of the movement. So going down, the down phase of the movement, think about that as just setting yourself up for the way up. Okay. So make sure you come down as active, as braced as possible and in great position. So you don't have to do anything other than come up when it's time to come up. So no crashing.
Awesome. Great answer. Thank you. All right. What's our next question?
I got one for you. How much is a membership? I don't see the rates on the website.
Awesome. So that is, you are correct, listener, person asking this question. The rates are not listed on the website, and we're not hiding anything from you. We're not trying to restrict any information or withhold any information. The simple answer as to why the rates aren't on the website is because we don't know how we can help you yet, right? There is seriously countless different combinations of services that we can use to help address your specific issue, your specific concern or problem or challenge that you're having. So to give you a straightforward answer on rates, we have rates as low as $140 a month. Okay. So our group class coaching rate is $140 a month. Not to be misunderstood or confused with like a 24-hour gym membership where you're going and essentially just renting equipment, right? Mm-hmm. You have access to a gym for whatever it is, these like 20, 30, 40 bucks a month. And at our gym, we're a coaching practice, right? So I don't know, $140 per month group class membership. Every single day that you come in, you're going to be led through a warm-up, a skill progression, some type of strength work likely, but the workout, and then a cool down with your coach. And key word there being your coach. So not a coach, not an instructor, not a choreographer, but your coach that has a relationship with you, meets with you regularly to review your progress, make sure we have a good target on the map. Ton of value there. And rates ranging all the way up to, we have members that have packages in the thousands, in the multiple thousands a month, with private coaching, some 5-6 days a week. So one-on-one attention, nutrition coaching, additional services. So in short, when we don't have our rates listed online, all the possible options, it's because it's like an infinite amount of combinations that we can put together to help you personally. So what I would encourage you to do is take advantage of the opportunity to talk with us, tell us about your goals in the consultation process so we can come up with what that custom figure is for you. Did I answer the question?
Yes. And on top of that, you said like talking to people in a consultation. Current members that are listening to this, please take advantage of every single thing that he just said. The big one being sitting down and talking to your coach. I believe like 95% of our member base is on a reoccurring goal setting consultation right now. Just know that those of you that are not, we are after you, because I want to know your goals. I can help you if I don't know your goals, but I can really help you best if I do, if I know why you're coming in to work out 3 to 6 times a week. If I know all of those things, if I know why you wake up in the morning, I can help you best that way. If I don't know, I can help you good. I can help you get generally fit, but to help you to the highest expectation or level that you want to be helped, please sit down and talk to either me or any of the other coaches, whatever coach you have most frequently.
And when you accomplish those things that you're working toward quietly that we don't know about right now, we want to celebrate with you.
Yes.
So, not to dive too deep down a rabbit hole there, but that's a really great point. I want to speak on the side of simple like terminology. Okay, these are for our new members coming in. You start with a new member consultation. Okay, is where we get to learn about you. We're not going to show off the gym to you. We don't have like a list of features. Our goal was not to highlight features and equipment. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to get you results, right? So we want to know what you want to accomplish, why, and then we'll come up with a plan together to get there, right? This is not like a showcase meeting. For our current members, the term is goal setting consultation, okay? So when I started this little rant, I said I want to talk about terminology. I think sometimes that goal setting consultation is misunderstood, and people hear like goal setting consultation and they might be like, oh, that's not for me. Like, I don't have any desire to lift like 500 pounds or whatever, because they hear goal setting or for some reason. I've heard that before, and it really does. The confusion makes sense to me. Understand, and this is me talking to our clients out there, understand that we understand that you have goals. Like, you don't need help setting goals. Like, you really don't. Even if you're saying right now, like, I just don't have any goals. Like, okay, we can potentially find something fun to put on the calendar, like a Spartan race. But that's not your big why in the sky. Like, you have goals. If you didn't, I promise you wouldn't be waking up 3 times a week at 4:30 to get to the gym for your 5:45 class and go through like what we're training you to do. There's a goal in there. We want to help you discover it if you really feel like you can't find it. But if you know it, we just want to know it.
And furthermore, I'm about to have a post today that helps with this as well. But even if your goal, you don't have a goal that's like, I want to get a strict pull-up, or even if it's like, I want to live a long, healthy life to watch my kids grow up and my grandkids grow up. Even if you don't have a goal like that, I guarantee you there's something that you're trying to avoid. So maybe like think about why you started. If you were overweight when you started and now you feel great and you continue to come in, because you've accomplished all your goals from when you started, right? And you can't think of any more that you want to accomplish, then you're trying to avoid something, and that's getting back to where you were when you started. Does that make sense?
It makes really good sense, because sometimes that can feel exhausting, right? Like, God, I'm always chasing something. I'm always like, I just want to enjoy my life and live it. Right on, dude. Like, I agree. Look. Let's look back at the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5+ years at everything that you've accomplished. You've come so far. You don't always need to be, pedal to the metal, pressing the gas, chasing something forward. You might very well be running away from something, avoiding something, or pushing something off, which is chronic illness, obesity, and early death.
And on top of that, it is also okay to be on that pedal for a long time, and then something comes up like a Spartan Race or something like that, and it's like, okay, I want to do that now. That's my goal. That's why I want to meet with you, so we know when those things shift, where your mind's at, where your targets are at, so we can help you with that, whether it's maintaining where you are because you're happy and you don't want to go back to where you were and then just getting a little bit better every day, right? Or it's like, all right, I want to put the pedal back down because I have this goal in mind. And it's like, perfect. And that's, as a coach and as a friend as well, like mindset helping with you, as well as like literally prescribing your workout specifically to you. Like it's important for your coach to know those things.
Beautiful. Awesome. That's why we meet every 3 months at a minimum, because targets shift. Awesome, dude. Well, the question you had asked me was about rates, and I think it's probably a pretty good sign that that's where we went. Like, that's the answer. That's why there's not a list of 70 different options on our website, because it's custom built to you. Like, we have standard rates for like an hourly rate for a private session, a monthly rate for group. But yeah, so that's a long answer. Sweet. Steele, my question for you, next question is, how fit do I need to be to do CrossFit, to start CrossFit?
Fittest on earth. No, I'm joking. Totally joking. Thought I'd bring some humor into this. No, but in all seriousness, one of my least favorite things that I think I hear frequently from not members, but people that are not members, is, I'm going to lose a couple pounds and start eating healthier, and then I'll join. It's like, that's why we're here. Wherever your fitness level may be, that's why we are. Well, that's why we exist. You can be any fitness level, from the fittest on earth to on a health scale, very unhealthy. That's why we exist. So anybody is the short answer to that. There's no certain fitness level you have to be to start CrossFit.
I've been quoted saying this probably thousands of times at this point, but telling yourself that you need to be fit or need to get in shape prior to starting in our program at Veneration is the dead equivalent to saying that you need to get really good and fluid at guitar before going to your first guitar lesson.
Literally.
That is the dead equivalent. Guys, we are health coaches. This is what we do. We exist to take you from where you are now to where you want to go. That's what a coach is. So, great answer.
Yeah, and you can see, and I'm just going to use a random example, right? So say your end goal is to get into group class because you want the community aspect, all of the stuff that we mentioned, right? But you can't thrive in a group class at this certain moment. That's why private coaching exists, right? I want to teach you all the things, whether it takes 2 weeks into an immersion program or 2 years to get you into really, really good shape to be able to keep up with the flow of group class, know the movements. My goal as a coach is for my clients to understand movement patterns and the way the body moves and why it's moving that way, than most coaches do. I want to actually coach and teach people, not just tell them how to move.
Will you say that again? So your goal.
My goal as a coach not only is to get you to achieve your goals and get you in great shape, right, or wherever you may want to go, but a little like side goal of mine as I'm coaching you is not only to coach you how to move correctly, but I want you to understand why your body's moving in certain ways, the movement patterns you're working through, connecting different movement patterns and movements to other movements, like truly understanding the way the body works. And I want you to be able to coach a movement better than most coaches do because you understand it that thoroughly.
That's sweet.
I believe that I can sit there and say, do this, do that, do that, do that, do that all day long. But if you don't understand what that means, whatever I'm trying to get you to do, then how are you supposed to do it? Because you don't know what it is. So that's why I take a lot of time actually teaching the movements and movement patterns versus just telling people what to do or shoving them into right positions. Now, in times, like tactical cues are great. And that's like, for those of you that don't know, that like a tactical cue is physically putting somebody in the position you want them to be. I think that is good, maybe to get somebody in the position and feel it for the first time.
Sure.
But from there, like using words and connecting through those sorts of things, or people watching you do and getting them to repeat it. And my favorite thing in the world is when a client, this sounds horrible, but when a client messes up and they're like, oh, I did this wrong. I'm like, perfect. Thank you. You just took the words right out of my mouth. You understand what you did wrong, and 99% of the times the next rep, it's nailed because they understood where they messed up. Right?
Sweet.
So yeah, that's cool.
Awesome. So awesome. Steele, you mentioned you've talked about the Veneration Immersion Program. What is the Veneration Immersion Program, and why does it exist?
The Immersion Program exists, and it is pretty much everything I just explained, right? It's a 2-week-long program, 5 sessions. It should be done inside that 2 weeks, right? Schedule based. But basically you run through all the fundamentals of our program, the things you need to thrive in a group class through our program, as well as private coaching. You can go through the immersion program and then decide to stay in private coaching as well. But basically it exists so you don't get thrown into group class and it's like, what is that word on the board, right? And that doesn't mean our coaches in group class coach as well. But the immersion program is private one-on-one attention versus 1-on-20 attention, or 1-on-10 attention, or 1-on-15 attention, right? It's that true one-on-one attention that every single person needs if they haven't had it before, to not only understand the movement patterns, but also the methodology of CrossFit and why we do these things, and how they benefit us.
One of the best ways I've heard it described in short, over a year ago, Coach Gabby said, I have 3 goals when I'm putting one of my clients through the immersion program. I want them to be safe now and later in their training. I want to teach them how to be safe. I want to make them feel smart. I want them to feel like the smartest person in the room. I don't want them to show up to a private session and feel silly because they don't know what it is, what something is. I certainly don't want them to graduate into group and the coach says that we're doing hang, clean, and jerks for the day, and they feel silly because they have no clue what it is. It's okay to forget and to be confused about, and confuse 2 movements, but you don't want them to ever feel silly. I want my clients to feel smart, safe, smart, and then set them up for complete and utter success. I want them to be on the path to their specific goal, not just fed into a cookie cutter program, which is the complete opposite of what Veneration is. Through the immersion program, my goal for my clients, keep them safe, make them feel smart, set them up for complete success.
Yes, 100%. And one of my favorite things that I've told people, many people that I've ran through the immersion program, is like, in 2 weeks, I do not expect you to learn all the names of these movements, right? And like, there's people that have been in the program for 5 years that don't know all the names of the movements, and that's totally okay. There's a lot. That's why we as coaches are here. My goal is for you to see a movement done when your coach demonstrates it for the day, or you ask them to demonstrate it and be like, I remember doing that in the Immersion Program. And that way you have an idea of the movement patterns, and then from there your coach can coach you.
You're not being introduced to the power snatch for the first time in a group class with 15 other people.
With a 5-minute long progression, 10-minute long progression, right? Like you've spent a good chunk of time already going through the movement pattern safely.
Awesome.
I got one for you.
Okay.
How do I get started? And are there free trials? Was a question that was asked.
I love the second part. Are there free trials? So how do you get started at Veneration? Very simple. We make it super simple for you, and we've alluded to it and talked to it ad nauseum at this point. The new member consultation. It's not for us. It's for you. Okay. Pause. It's a little bit for us because we want to get to know you and learn about how we can help you best. Also, it truly is like a vetting process. If you're not a good fit for our community, for our coaching, like we will refer you on. I've done it multiple times. Like, hey, it's just not going to be a good fit. You're not going to be happy here. And we're certainly not going to be with what you're looking for. Like we're a coaching program, not an access program. You're like, this is not come and do random stuff on your own. We have a very well thought out strategic curriculum.
Let me explain that a little bit better into what you're saying. If you come in and say, hey, I'm not looking for coaching. I have a program that I'm already looking to follow that I found online. This is what I'm going to do during a class. Like,
it's not what we do.
Yes.
It's not what we do. So anyway, I'll go back. Let me answer your question. So the question is, how do I get started? Very simple. If you go to CrossFitVeneration.com, you just click the button that says book your new member consultation, and it's free, and that's your time to come tell us about what you want to accomplish. We're going to team up together and build you a custom plan for exactly what your target is. To answer the later part, are there any free trials? You could consider that a free trial, but that's for you. A free trial as far as coming in and dropping into a class, absolutely not. We've been there. We've tried it, and all it does is provide a massive disservice to you. You're going to dive in, no matter how much experience in the fitness world you have, you're going to dive into the middle of a curriculum, right? Our people train with us 3 to 6 days a week. You're going to dive into the middle of a curriculum without any context on the training. We haven't had an opportunity to build a relationship with you yet, so we don't know any strengths or weaknesses, limitations. And you're likely going to leave feeling frustrated because we weren't able to help you to the best of our ability. We don't even know why you're training, right? So free trial, try it on before you buy it or whatever. I think that it's a huge disservice to the client. I think that we should sit down together and figure out what you want to accomplish, and then figure out the best plan for you from there.
Absolutely.
So that's the long answer, I suppose. Got a couple more to finish up here today. I love this one. Listener wants to know, when should I wear a weightlifting belt?
When should you wear a weightlifting belt? A big misconception of belts is, oh, my back's tight, I'm going to throw on a belt. No, use a belt for an accessory piece to help brace with max loads, right? So if you're working towards a 1 rep max or even above, anything above 80% where you need extra support to help brace to make sure you don't come out of position, then sure. But if you're working at speed reps at 65% of your 1 rep max, no, build that foundation, stay in perfect position. When you need that extra support to make sure you don't fall out of position into those heavier loads, then absolutely for better support. But conditioning pieces, absolutely not. And then light weightlifting, speed work, work where you should be practicing 100% on your bracing. No external things to help you with the brace. Does that answer your question?
That was perfect.
Well, not your question, but does that answer the question
that
well?
Answers
in
the
your
question
opinion?
very well. I have a follow-up question. You said times not to wear a belt. So it's not recommended to wear a belt if your back is tightening up at 60% of your 1 rep max deadlift, or your back hurts or you're sore or whatever. Like, oh, I need to go through my belt on. That you're saying that's bad. What does one do in that scenario? If they usually reach for their belt, what should they be doing instead?
One of two things. The answer is not always drop the load. If you're moving in perfect position, call your coach over. If your coach already isn't over there, if they're working with somebody else, say, hey, next set, can you watch this? To make sure that I'm moving in great position, right? So check positioning first before you start stripping off weight. If your positioning's good, then understand that, let's use the lower back, for example. Your lower back is a muscle, right? If your lower back tightens up, or is sore, it's okay for that to be sore, right? It's just like when you back squat heavy and you stayed in great position and you know you did because you have a video of it and your friends and your coaches were like, nice job, man, that looked fantastic. Yeah, your legs are going to be sore the next day, right? Because your legs are a muscle and you work them. Same exact thing for your lower back, okay? So if that's the case, if you're moving in perfect position, you're keeping your bracing, you have no flaws, then keep doing what you're doing, right? It's okay for your lower back to tighten up. Now, the other case is you have too heavy of a load, for example, we'll say heavy deadlifts, because we're using the back as an example right now, right? And your butt is shooting up right before, or straight up, and then your shoulders are following, and then you're into like a curved back, your lumbar, your midline is collapsed and your lumbar is bent. Take off the loading and work at a weight that you can keep that perfect bracing. You can't injure yourself if you're moving perfectly. It's impossible.
Big takeaway there is muscle tightness is okay.
Yes.
Your muscles, your muscles are allowed. This is just great, man. That's a great point. Muscles are allowed to be worked and then be fatigued and tighten up.
100%. Like, you're exercising, right? Exercising is sometimes uncomfortable. Like sitting here talking to you, like I'm not breathing super hard because I'm comfortable, right? But if I go hit a conditioning piece, I'm going to be huffing and puffing. My lungs might feel like they're burning.
You're not going to say like, whoa, time out. I got to stop doing this and put on some type of apparatus that's going to fix this. I'm breathing too heavy. No, you went into that knowing that activity is going to require you to probably breathe heavy. Same
Yes.
thing with the muscle tightening up. Like,
yes, you're getting stronger.
Awesome. But yeah, in all seriousness, I mean, really the answer is lean on your coach. Lean on your coach. Check positioning, and we'll make a recommendation from there. But as long as our people understand that they're not going into a metabolic conditioning piece with extremely submaximal thrusters and throwing a belt on because their back is bothering them. That's not how we approach belt wearing. So Awesome answer. Where are we at? We're wrapping up. I think you have.
I have one for you from a listener. How to refer a friend.
How to refer a friend to Veneration. Just to piggyback off of everything that we've discussed today regarding the new member consultation and the value there. It's very, very simple. We are going to treat everyone with the love and care that we treat our own family members and with our current members, right? So if you have a friend that you believe could benefit from the same successes and progress and life-changing results that you have at Veneration, the best thing that you can do for them is send them the link to CrossFitVeneration.com. There's a big button right on the homepage that says book your new member consultation. It's free. We want to sit down, learn about them, figure out how we can help them best to get them set up with the coach.
Yeah, and then on top of that, something else that's cool if you're referring a friend that is kind of a procrastinator or something like that, in lack of a better term, give us their number. We'd be happy to give them a call to help them out.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. That's sweet. For sure. To bring this thing to a close, our last question for today. One of our members want to know, how often should I work out? How often should I come to the gym?
Oh, we could spend a long time talking about this, but to answer that question without sitting here for another hour and talking about it, right? It's different for everybody. So I'm going to run through a few different examples while I'm talking here, and if your avatar fits, then great. But So let's start off with, we'll say, somebody that's been doing CrossFit they just graduated their immersion program, right? Your coach, if they did their job correctly, which I would hope so, right? They set you up for an action plan of how many days a week and when you will be coming in to work out. Let's say it started off with 3. Say the first week 3 felt fantastic and you like wanted more work and you're chomping at the bit. Talk to your coach. Tell him like, hey, I want to, and your coach will say, come in and for the 4th time this next week, and then the next week you feel great, you want to come in 5, and then the next week after that you feel great and you want to come in 6. That's what our program is built for. So that's what I'm getting to the point there is you are able, whether you are new or you've been a member for 6 years, you can come in all 6 days of the week. That's how our program is designed to be able to sustain that. With that being said, you can't come in 6 times a week and absolutely bury yourself and scoop you up off the floor every week, right? You have to listen to the stimuluses that your coaches are prescribing for that day. So if it's a Wednesday and we have a GPP day, general physical preparedness is what that stands for, and your coach is telling you, hey, I want you at a zone 1 training state where you should be able to have a conversation with me anytime throughout the workout. Your muscles are feeling warm, your heart rate is slightly elevated but not skyrocketed, and you're sweating, right? Because this is a longer style, like we'll use conditioning piece or moving piece,
aerobic
right?
piece,
Yeah, aerobic
on our
piece.
Wednesdays.
And if you come out and you redline round 1 and you're trying to maintain that for the whole entire 30-minute AMRAP, you're not going to be able to work out 6 times a week because you didn't meet the stimulus for your Wednesday. You'll probably likely have to take a rest day on Thursday if you've been the previous couple of days because your body will be shot. So the answer to that shortly, 6 days a week is what you can train if you follow the exact stimuluses that your coaches are telling you should meet on days that you either push the pace to a 90% effort, or days that you're literally working at a 70% effort to get your body sweating and keep your breathing under control. Both have their own great, fantastic benefits. Not every day is meant to bury you and scoop you up off of the floor. So as many days as your body is telling you can handle, and obviously we're all humans, right? If you come in on a Wednesday and you feel great and you do accidentally come out too hot and then you're buried after a workout that you shouldn't be buried in, and the next day your body's like, yep, nope, I pushed it too hard yesterday. I maybe fell off of the stimulus that coach told me. It's okay to take a rest day too as well. Listen to your body as well. So plans are made to be stuck to, but let your coach know how you're feeling if that's the case, and chances are they'll say, yes, listen to your body, I'll see you tomorrow, if you are truly feeling that way, right?
Can we talk about like minimums a little bit? So you gave a great answer, which perfectly describes our program and the use of both the CrossFit methodology, the conjugate method that we use to build our program. They coexist together to yield the results that they yield and to allow you to train up to 6 days a week, with the 7th day being like an active recovery. I hesitate to even call that a workout. Active recovery, go on a hike, go on a swim,
go golfing.
100%. Yes. So with all of that said, can we talk about the other end of the spectrum, possibly, where it's like, what is like the minimum date? Hey, I'm really busy and it's a really tough time at work right now. Q2 is when everything picks up. My boss is really hounding me. What is the minimum work that I should put in at the gym to see some quality results?
I mean, again, depending on the person, right? Depending what your certain situation is. But I hesitate to call this a minimum because there's different situations. There's different levels of fitness, right? There could be some people, some avatars where, right, 1 workout a week, you're getting your money's worth. Not to like compare, but like you're getting a private coaching session, 4 private coaching sessions for $140. That's a good deal. If you go look elsewhere, like you're not going to find that.
Sure.
But for so somebody that's better than sitting on the couch for 7 days. So you get up and you come work out for 6 days, and that can quickly turn into 2 to 3. And then,
I have a funny story about this when you're done, by the way.
But yeah, Storm, I honestly don't have an answer for you there. The reason being is because there's so many different situations that you could be put in, right? For some people in their current situation, like 1 day a week might be all their body can handle, and it might take them, in all honesty, 3-4 days to recover before their next workout, and that's totally okay if that's where they're at right now. Now, quickly, you can get upgraded from that to where you're moving once a week, right? You're feeling good. Now let's try out 2 times a week. And then you'll likely realize very fast that you can handle that. And then we might stick at that plan for a month or 2 or 3. And then you're like, hey, I think I can handle 3 times a week. And then it's a repeating process, right? So if you're somebody that's starting out, something is better than nothing. Moving your body, learning where the right ways to move your body when you're sitting up off of the couch every day. Those reps add up. Sitting down and picking things up just isn't for 70-plus-year-olds, right? It's also for your 30-year-olds. At one point in your life, hopefully you turn 80, right? If you sit down and stand up poorly your whole entire life, like it's going to catch up to you, and you're going to have a double knee replacement by the time you're 80 years old.
There's a few truisms. There's a few truisms in life. One is that the sun is going to come up tomorrow, and 2 is that as a human being you need to know how to squat.
Yeah.
And if we do that poorly for 80 years, there's going to be some really, really bad repercussions, consequences for that. You answered that question better than I have ever answered it in the past. To be completely honest with you, like my umbrella answer would have been like 3 days a week is a really safe bet. Like you're able to get fit. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. You're able to get fit and stay fit on 3 days a week of training. That's a very overarching umbrella answer that has truth to it. But your answer puts so much emphasis on the fact that everyone has a story. Everyone has challenges. Everyone has a unique schedule. Maybe they only get their kids on these days of the week and the other days they're at work, so they can only make it in for these 2 days. Like we have to take into consideration all of these variables. And what a beautiful way to bring our our conversation today full circle about this is everything that we do is learn about you, build a relationship with you to make sure that we always, because targets shift and things change, that we always have your best interest in mind and a action plan in place conducive to like the moment that you are in your life, the season that you are in. So it was a wonderful answer.
Thank you.
Awesome. Man, I think we could go on forever. I'm excited. You and I are going to do this regularly because I have 30 more questions to answer based on the few questions that we've been asked just to kick this off. So on that note, to bring it home, if you have questions for myself, for Steele, for other members of our coaching staff, when I bring the coaching team on, part of every episode is going to be answering the questions from our listeners. So whether you're a current member or maybe you're a past member, or maybe you have never stepped foot inside Veneration and never reached out to us, but you're listening, I really, really encourage you, reach out to us. You can post your questions in the comments of this video. You can post them in the comments on Facebook or on Instagram. You can contact us directly with your question, and we can even make it anonymous if you want us to answer it. Like we certainly don't have to say your name while we're recording, but you can email us. So our emails are our first name at CrossFitVeneration.com. So Storm at CrossFitVeneration.com, Steele, Steele at CrossFitVeneration.com. Ask us your questions, and we're looking forward to helping you and answering those the best that we can. Don't claim to be right, but we have some experience under our belt, and we've learned a lot from people that are much, much smarter than us and from working with some amazing people over the years. So we're happy to help. Final call to action for today. If you are an existing member listening to this, if you're a member of the Veneration tribe, and either you have a goal setting consultation on the books a couple months out and you need to meet with your coach after listening to this and update them on some of your plans or struggles or successes, do that now. That's the most valuable, arguably one of the most valuable parts of your membership at Veneration. Reach out to your coach. Schedule a goal setting consultation. if you are someone out there that that needs help, would like help, and would like to know more about what we're doing here, we want to know more about you. We've said it 1,000 times today. CrossFitVeneration.com, book your new member consultation, and chances are, if you go to one of our Facebook posts, or even on our coaches' Facebook pages, you can find that link there too, as well.
Between that or walk in the building, if we have a coach free at the time and not do anything, you can have your new member consultation on spot.
Here to help.
And you just did the 2 bird in 1 stone. You did the hardest part, walking in the doors for the first time. So, yeah, either one of those works perfectly. Storm, thank you for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Cool.